Fucking Gumby.
Welcome back to the worst channel in all of YouTube. I'm Games420, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Figuarts Majin Vegeta Exclusive Edition. This guy originally came out at SDCC 2023 and was later re-released on Premium Bandai at a retail price of $85. And fortunately, unlike the years prior to him, he was actually fairly easy to get a hold of. So I guess all that preamble out of the way, let's start this shit show off with what else other than his box. Seeing as his box is not only fucking massive, but it's also what you've come to expect out of exclusives at this point, I'm just going to try to run through this nice and quick. You get a pretty cool monochromatic line trace of Vegeta on the front, all the usual logos on the bottom, designed by Tamashii Nations in Japan, Bandai Spirits made in China. A clear window that shows Vegeta and a few of his accessories as well as his name. On the side of the box you get another monochrome line trace picture of Vegeta, his name, and the Dragon Ball Z logo. On the bottom you get another line trace image of his face and his name. The other side continues the line trace from the front with a product shot of Vegeta overlaid on top of it, Figuarts logo, and Majin Vegeta once again. And on the very back you have some product shots of Vegeta. Not much else to say here. Let's take Vegeta out of his box. Here Vegeta is out of the box. I don't have the original because I decided to skip that figure since it's frankly complete fucking dog shit. So I guess I'll only compare them to the only figures that I think are really worth your time here.
Speak, motherfucker!
Here he is next to the one that I'm shot. Still doesn't have a standard release variant. And a big pink fat ass. And lastly, the other two SDCC exclusive releases from 2023. The temporarily fatherless son and the ghost of said father, as well as a radish that can barely stand. As far as the aesthetics are concerned, I think Tamashii did a really good job with this figure. Faces are very good. They're a massive step up from the original. I have no idea what the hell they were smoking with that figure. Even back then, that figure just looked like fucking shit. The faces on this just totally fucking mine that one. The hair is a sort of desaturated pearlescent yellow that was featured on the 15th anniversary Goku and the exclusive Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. And you combine it with the much more saturated but dark blues of his body, and yeah, the color palette on this guy is really strong. Unfortunately, he does have a bit of a glossy sheen in his upper torso. I'm not a fan of that at all, and it definitely should not be on an event exclusive. His arms are basically just Super Vegetas with veins sculpted in, and then you have the sort of cut for his glove that I'm not sure why they added. He's got some faint highlights on his legs, I guess to add some slight distinction to the rest of his body. His boots are basically just Vegeta boots with a slightly new trim added and a more rounded tip. Not much else to say here. The figure looks really good. And as far as the accessories are concerned with Vegeta, you get a pretty okay spread. You get 4 faces, you get gritted teeth, maniacal laughing, smirk, and unfortunately they did give you a second stern face.
My dude, you just got pranked. Stupid.
Hey, you guys are watching
All of Vegeta's faces are done well. My only gripe is that the spacing in between his eyes can be a little funky, but other than that, they look fine. You do get 2 additional pairs of hands, Big Bang Attack or chopping style hands, and martial arts stance posing hands, as well as a hand for his atomic blast or final impact. They're 2.0 Vegeta hands. Only real issue I had with them is that they were way too fucking tight out of the box, and I ended up having to drill them. Speaking of things that were way too fucking tight fresh out of the box, that brings me right to his aura effect. It's the exact same as Super Saiyan 2 Goku with couple changes here or there, namely the white spray on the aura itself isn't as intense as Goku's, but the lightning is as much of a pain in the ass as it was on Goku to peg in. I have actually broken one of the lightning bolts on my Super Saiyan 2 Goku, so be very careful when putting the lightning together. Otherwise, my only real issue with the accessories on this guy is if they could seriously be bothered to throw in an entire aura effect with this guy, why did they not throw in any of the other 2.0 Vegeta hands? It's very odd that they didn't bother to throw in like his grabbing Final Flash style hands or his open palm blasting hands. But that said, if you do have the superhero Vegeta lying around, you can actually get away with swapping his hands onto this guy, and the color of the gloves doesn't match perfectly, but it's not too much of a mismatch to where you'll notice it. It is definitely tough to find hands that match perfectly with this guy, but once you do, you can get some more options out of him. So all that out of the way, let's move into his articulation. As far as the articulation goes on this guy, his head can look up that far, down about that far, side to side out of it, some tilt at the neck, kind of stiff shoulder joint, but it does go a full 360, and we are reaching digital circus levels of foreshadowing with this one. Shoulder can go up about that far, full 360 out of his bicep, although it does like to come off, double joint at his elbow, wrist pivot and swivel. Like I said earlier, the wrists on this guy were extremely tight fresh out of the box, so I would absolutely recommend doing something to loosen them up if you can. Torso leans that far forward, that far back, a little bit of side to side tilt, but not too much. Rotation at the lower waist. His legs can spread out to the sides really far. No idea why Tamashii hasn't reused this leg joint, but c'est la vie. It's very, very good. And this is where Tamashii Nation's quality strikes yet again. But unfortunately, I can't quite demonstrate it myself. So, I will let me from 3 months ago as I'm recording play this one out. So this is just a quick little spur of the moment segment that I'm filming at like 5:30 in the fucking morning. So I have no idea if I've mentioned this in the review or not, since this is being shot long before the review. Here is Vegeta's leg. Here is Vegeta's leg prior to being fixed. This is completely raw, unedited footage of Vegeta's leg prior to being fixed. I'm going to demonstrate his right leg first. It's fairly tight, but with enough force I can get it to move. Left leg on the other hand. Yeah, I dare not push that back, so needless to say that's getting some shock oil. And even with shock oil, it is still tight. Full 360 out of his thigh swivel, double joint at the knee, and shockingly, you'd get slightly more down and up movement out of his ankle than Super Vegeta, and it looks much nicer. Unfortunately, you get nothing out of his side-to-side movement. You get a little bit of toe crunch out of him, but it is completely useless on this figure. What works of his articulation is nice, but unfortunately, yeah, you just saw this guy's QC is not great, so no point in me reiterating it any further. And overall, I think this figure is pretty decent if we overlook the QC problems that mine has. And if I'm being totally honest, I'm not too sure if the issues mine had are a very common problem, aside from the aura. The aura is just generally a common problem on both this guy and Super Saiyan 2 Goku. The accessories you get on this guy are fine. I think they could have thrown in a couple more pairs of hands and then maybe a full-on yelling face. The color scheme that Tamashii chose is really, really nice. The articulation when it functions is very good, and just overall, I'm gonna be brutally honest here, I think this is an objectively better looking Majin Vegeta than Tonson's. That's not to say Tonson is bad by any metric, it's just that you can obviously tell that the Vegeta heads were some of his earliest work. They don't look very good, and I think he should probably try again, because they just look really fucking bad. But I think with me going on a completely unrelated diatribe and hastening my execution, this has been Tipper Games 420. I will see you guys next time.
Looks like the end for me.